just want to have fun. Yeah, girls just want to have fun.
Wow. That's
They just wanna. Just wanna.
Can I be Simon Cowell right now and be like, I'm sorry, what abysmal singing is that? Oh my goodness. Why are you singing that song, JJ?
Because the girlies are telling all
On
in
today's
this episode.
Have you listened to this episode?
I haven't.
Are you going to?
Wait.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to have some Pinot. I'm going to have...
Pinot Grigio?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to light some candles. I'm going to draw a bath. The cutest bath bomb I've been wanting to try.
What scent is it?
It's Lavender Fields. And yeah, and I have this new candle I got from Target. I actually bought like 6 of them. And I have some Epsom salt. I got the cutest tray that goes across my bath. And I can't wait.
The funny thing is you would actually do all of those things.
No, I wouldn't.
Yes, you would.
No, I ice bath and I would never smell good ever. And yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. Okay. You wouldn't do that. Sure. Well, you want to know a fun fact about this casual dating tell-all?
Oh, it's casual.
Well, it's about quote casual dating and the worlds of quote casual dating.
And we all know what that means.
Yeah. So we discuss what it means on the episode. Me, my girls, Carrie and Kat, Kait, Carrie and Kat, you know, it's all the names. But here's a fun fact. While I was recording this episode, I had begun dating you.
Okay. Really?
Like, I'm pretty sure this episode was recorded the day before you came in to visit me for the first time.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wait, did you talk about me in this episode?
Yeah, without you knowing it.
What did you say?
I don't know. I probably was
good?
referencing you, thinking of you.
You're like, I'm casually dating this guy.
Well, I was saying more than one guy.
Yeah, but this one in particular, I'm not too into him, right? But he seems kind of nice.
I don't think I said that, actually.
And kind of funny.
Because
pretty jacked.
But I said he was jacked?
I don't know. Did you?
Definitely not. I didn't even know what you really looked like yet. I didn't even know how tall you were.
I know. Well, I can't wait to listen then.
Yeah. So this is a really good episode because we really break down the stigmas of why, like from the last week's episode, if you listen to it, dating multiple people, aka going on dates with multiple people, we really break that down, like why quote casual dating has such a bad rap in the church.
Okay.
And
so
why people
like
misuse it. Yeah,
okay.
Definitely.
All right. So what should I be listening for? What should I keep in mind as I go into the episode?
That all 3 of us ladies are very different, and that, you know, it's from a female's perspective, but I think this is still a great episode for guys to listen to as well.
Okay. Now, is casual dating for everybody, or can some people abuse it?
Oh, people can abuse it 100%.
Like in the church casual dating.
I mean, obviously everyone can misuse it, but yeah, in the church, casual dating can definitely be misused. That's why we only recommend it too if you need to ask the close people in your life and say, hey, you know me so well. Do you think that dating without putting a ton of pressure on it and maybe going on dates with more than one person for a season is good for me or not?
Yeah.
Like knowing me. And if you are a flirt and if you are doing this to get attention, it's not going to be good for you. But if you are honest with your friend and your friend can honestly speak back to you and you want them to, then hopefully they will tell you, hey, Kait, this is not a good idea for you.
I know. I think of 2 guys right away. And if they both ask me that question, for one of them, I would say, absolutely. Like, please, you need to lighten up. It's just a date.
Right.
And the other one I would say, absolutely not. Please.
Yeah.
You already have a problem like not committing.
Yes.
Casually dating everyone you lay your eyes on.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's actually a really fun way to think about it.
Yeah. So definitely bringing accountability into the mix and asking people who know you really well if this is going to be a win for you would be key, because you've talked about this, JJ, before, that like you've dated in a silo. So you were maybe on dating apps, like talking to more than one girl, and they weren't going to your church community. Nobody even knew you were going on these dates, and you basically had no accountability and could like ghost them at any moment in time.
Yeah, totally. So there's some people where you might ask them this question. They're like, I'll be honest, I don't really know much about your dating life. You never really talk about it. And maybe they won't say that, but you know that, right? Because you don't share those details of your private life, which I actually think, to be honest, as a Christian, your quote, private life, well, we kind of like don't really have one, right? Like there's things that we keep within our innermost circle.
Right.
But I think the Christian life is kind of designed through discipleship and fellowship to be transparent.
Yeah.
Paul talks
totally
about that
agree with you.
idea of
Totally
in
agree.
2 Corinthians. He talks about this idea that look at every single part of my life
Mhm.
and it all points back to Jesus.
Yes.
Like there's no hidden
Amen.
closet in my life where I don't glorify God. And
Yeah.
that's actually, as believers, the best testimony I can have is
Mhm.
go look at how I keep my golf score. Go look at when I do my taxes
Right.
and what I report as an expense and what's really expensive. Go look at how I date
Yeah.
when no one's looking.
Yes.
And it all glorifies Jesus.
Right. So good, honey. And that's what the kind of transparency we should have, which is also why if you do date more than one person, you need to be upfront. You need to be transparent that you are doing this, because so many people hide it. And then, you are dating someone for a month or two, going on dates with them, and then they find out that you've been talking to somebody else as well. And they're like, wait, what? And that would feel like a huge betrayal.
Yeah. And we hide it from that person and we hide it from our friends.
Yes.
And, anytime we feel an urge to hide something, it's probably not for a good reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
Very true.
It's probably not for a good reason.
Yeah. Well, hope you guys enjoy this episode. Hey, real quick, we're coming up on the end of the time frame where you guys can get on the first dibs list to get the $500 off of School of Dating, which is our intensive mentorship program. If you didn't know, you can sign up for a call with JJ, right, JJ?
Yeah, if you just want an excuse to talk to me, and please.
And it will answer questions because it is an investment in yourself.
I know. Well, listen, I just told someone the other day on a call, we just bought a fridge for $1,200. Like, I know what it's like to spend that much money. You best believe I'm going to do research. You best believe I'm going to ask that Best Buy associate
every question on the
20
planet,
questions.
which we did.
I really want to be sure about that money that I'm spending. And so we want you guys to feel the same way. So book a call with me. And until then, enjoy the girlies having girl time. And we definitely need to have a men's version of this episode dropping, don't we?
The casual dating men's tell-all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll play the YMCA intro music.
Okay, so to get on the first dibs list, we didn't tell them, did we? You can text first dibs to 214-225-7772, and then you will get that special discount link and the link to sign up for a call with JJ. If you're international, just email us info@hodpodcast.com. Our next School of Dating class starts this June.
Love you guys.
Love you. Hey y'all, we have a special treat today. You aren't even ready for what's about to go down, okay y'all? I brought two of my favorite girls on and we just all happen to have names. So today we have myself, Kait, we have my girl, Kat Harris, and we have my girl, Carrie Lloyd. Ladies, say hello.
What up, what up?
Oh God, Kat's singing. now I feel I should harmonize.
Yeah, you should definitely. This is yes and Carrie. So what are you going to do to and me?
I know, exactly. Should I start rapping?
The heels are alive. As y'all can see, we are just going to have a blast today. You guys have been asking for us to do both a men's roundtable, which we will get to, but also a female roundtable, which we have pretty much never done, or it was 3 years ago if we did do it. So I am so excited, ladies, to have you today on Heart of Dating.
A privilege, as always.
A real privilege.
And we're doing a 3-part. Don't sound too excited, Kat, okay?
I'm trying to sound as American as I can sound because Carrie, you just sound so posh. And I'm like, yeah, real privilege. Let's see how Texas I can sound.
Okay. I love it. Yeah.
We could just see how many accents we can get into this entire podcast.
Yes, darling. I would love
So I
would
start
love
talking
that.
like this and start being like Southeast London. Do you know what I mean? And then we'll just go through the different arrays of accents.
Please teach us them all. But you guys listening, we are doing a 3-part series right now. We're going to answer some hot topics. So we're going to do one today here on Heart of Dating. We're going to do one on Kat's podcast. And then we're also going to do one on Carrie's podcast. So if y'all like what you're hearing today, you're going to have to also jump over to everyone tell the name of your podcast.
Oh, mine is The Refined Collective.
Yes.
And mine is the Carry On podcast. Do you see what I did there?
Carry On. Oh, yes, I did.
See what you did there. You're just so witty. I love it.
I love
it. Also, this is kind of one of my dreams come true. I was just talking with one of our other friends, Tiffany Bloom. Her and Ashley Abercrombie have a podcast together. And I was saying, I wish that I had someone that I could do a podcast with every time, because I love doing the solo shows and I love also interviewing people, but it is kind of fun just to talk with your friend or friends about dating, life, God, sexuality, all the things without. Sometimes I do solo shows. I'm just staring at my wall and I have no idea if I'm making any sense. But this is just making me feel like, should we start a podcast together? I don't know. Are we starting a podcast right now?
We're starting a podcast right now.
It's one of those conversations I think all the time, whenever we get together, I know that we haven't actually had a conversation, all three of us together, but I know we have conversations solo with each other. And it feels a little bit like sitting in the ladies' bathroom in a nightclub. That's my hopes and expectations.
Oh my Setting the expectations right now.
Inside, no.
You look so great.
I love your red lipstick.
I'm just thinking of being in the club in the bathroom, which it's been a really long
time, and I miss it, y'all. I miss just dancing on the dance floor. It's so fun.
Just give me a beat, you know?
Yes. Okay,
let's find one right now. Let's find one right now for Kat. Let's see what she does. Someone going to repeat.
Oh my gosh. By the way, y'all, speaking of, I just have to announce that all three of us are authors, and this is a really fun experience.
So proud of you guys. I'm so proud of you guys. I'm so glad you've come to join me, because it's a terrifying journey, isn't it, really? Let's face it.
Oh. Kat, you said this. It's like, someone said this to you, but it's like standing in Times Square naked. Like,
oh, yeah.
I mean, I've never stood in Times Square naked, so I can't contrast.
Now you don't have to.
We know what it's like. I already know.
Yeah.
Here are all my parts exposed to the world. It's like, that's what it feels like when you launch this. And Kat, your book is about to come out in just a few weeks. Sexless in the City. Hello. Speaking of New York, hello. So can't wait. Love it. Carrie, tell us about your books just for a sec. So people listening, you've been on the pod before, but you came out with a book since then.
Well, it's funny actually, because Kat and I met when I'd written my second book. I think it was Prude, that was the Self-Confessions of a Neo-Virgin, which my mother had made up. She's like, you're sort of like a neo-virgin. And I went, what? The only other time I've heard the word neo is in front of Nazism. So I was like, what are you talking about? So anyway, I ended up sort of going through this journey of writing about why I came back to abstinence over my journey of being an atheist and coming to a Christian. And so that was The Virgin Monologues and Prude. Those were my first two books. This book that I just did last year, beautifully during the pandemic, was The Noble Renaissance. So I like to think that's my adult book.
Yeah.
Because I'm not talking about dating now so much as I'm talking about character.
Yeah.
Because I realize most of the complaints we have about dating is actually down to someone's character or our own on some level. So, so that's that.
So good.
I'm so excited about your books. Both of you. But yeah, Kat.
Well, first of all, I love your book, The Noble Renaissance. Even just the first page of the book is so compelling.
Oh, wow.
It's really hard to write something that draws people in, and the way you invite people into a story of nobility is super powerful. I love your book, and I feel like everyone should read it.
Thank you, sweetheart.
I felt the same. Kat, tell us about Sexless in the City for a second.
Oh my goodness. Sexless in the City is about me growing up in Southern conservative Bible Belt evangelical Christian culture and learning a set of rules when it came to sex, sexuality, desire, my body. And I really never questioned any of those scripts. I just thought, oh, good Christians don't have sex. And I am a 3 on the Enneagram. So let me be the poster child of whatever space I am in. So I didn't think twice about it. I was super high and mighty about my virginity. And at some point realized my virginity became really enmeshed with my relationship with Jesus. I would have never really said out loud, oh, salvation is Jesus plus my virginity. But the way I was living my life really spoke that. And then I moved to New York City, fell in love, dated all sorts of people, got heartbroken and rejected. And really in walking through one of my heartbreaks, I was at a fork in the road where I just was really tired of not having sex. And I was tired of feeling ashamed. And I really did not have any sort of God vision for sexuality outside of those rules I had been given so long ago. And those rules just weren't working for me anymore. So the book is my story of researching every verse in the Bible that I could find that talked about sex. It's really about navigating what is it to have a healthy sexual ethic that's also in alignment with my values and scripture, but that is not rooted in shame.
Yeah, so good.
So my book I kind of go for the jugular of a lot of the shame narratives that I was prescribed growing up in Christian culture and purity movement and all that stuff.
So needed.
Yeah.
And I am so excited for your book and so thankful for your journey and that you're willing to share it with all of us. Yeah. It's a noble thing.
Oh, it's noble.
There it goes.
I tell you.
There it goes.
It's a noble virtue.
noble.
Do you know what? Shame is the number one thing that I find myself coaching people through the most.
Yeah.
And it was one of the things that actually made me very nervous about coming back to the church. I was nervous I was going to get all the shame stuff again.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad you're approaching it because I just don't think we talk about it enough.
We don't. We need some more of that and some more Brené Brown research on shame and vulnerability and just talking about it. So y'all, let's get into our convo for today. I'm so excited. We, for those of you listening, we are going to have a real honest roundtable discussion about something kind of pointed. And so what I want to frame it up is this. So oftentimes in dating, we are, especially as Christians, we got to frame it up there because this is how we do it a lot of times as Christians. And we're really weird in this journey as Christians dating. And I think we can all laugh about it, but it's true. Like we are weird and awkward. And we go on a date and we are like, this is it. I'm getting into this. I am committing. And I will be the first to admit that I've done that a lot. And we often do this thing where we think that the stages of dating go like single, dating, engaged, married, right? But I heard this through my friend, Dr. Henry Cloud, and I want to present it today if you guys haven't heard it. I actually want to propose a fifth stage, okay? We're going to call it single, dating, relationship, engaged, married. And the reason why I think this is so important is because I think the dating season is to figure out if you actually want to be in a relationship with that person. And then once you're in a relationship, then you're having, can I move towards engagement? Yeah. But what often happens, especially as Christians, we are dating and that is enmeshed with relationship. Like on a first date, second date, we're like, I'm exclusive. And this is already like, this is my person, if it's going well, and we don't really know much about that person, right? So I've been doing something that I want to reveal today. I want to talk about it. I've been practicing non-exclusivity, okay? Meaning...
She has 15 boyfriends.
It sounds like you're saying conscious uncoupling or something. Yeah. I've been practicing non-exclusive dating.
And I'm going to throw it at my friend, Dr. Cloud, because he did encourage me to do this. And in his book, How to Get a Date Worth Keeping, he encourages people to do it for 6 months. Now, I think that's a long time. I have been aiming for 3 months. 3 months non-exclusivity, 3 months of just dating people. And the caveat is being very honest with all the people that I am dating other people, but to really see what happens in the dating stage, because my tendency has been, it's going well, great, hop right in, like this is it. And I don't really know that person yet. So, okay, what are your thoughts, ladies? Let's talk about this. Because I think a lot of people hear it and they're like, that's casual dating, Kait, and that's so wrong, and you're messing with people. But I don't believe that, y'all.
Who says casual dating is wrong?
I mean, a lot of people. But I think there's stigmas around that casual dating means that you might be sleeping around.
Or even just spreading yourself too thinly.
Yeah.
So you're not actually taking anyone seriously because essentially you're looking at so many different people. How could you possibly be intentional about one person? And I think a lot of the time we're wanting to feel safe with other people's actions by knowing that they're exclusive. Mm-hmm. One of the things I like about what you're I've been kind of on a similar journey in the last couple of years of looking at what does it look like to date with abundance rather than scarcity.
Yes, that's it.
And one of the reasons why guys have been so scared within the church, or at least this is what some surveys and people have been researching, they've been so nervous to actually involve themselves with us because we get so high stakes so quickly. That's what happens when you're going from a scarcity mindset, especially when the ratio is 60-40 single male, female. So
that's real.
Yes. So therefore, if we're given an option or opportunity to actually date someone, we're clinging on to them for dear life, as opposed to, actually, I don't know whether, if I make an executive decision, I remember when I was 18, I would just felt like the whole world was my oyster and I could just date. And if it didn't work out, that's fine. There'll be plenty more other people that I'll meet. But I didn't feel like that when I got into the church. By the time I was in my 30s, I was like, well, maybe it'll happen one day, but you don't know. And so when anyone gave a glimpse of attention, that was it. I was holding on to it. I wanted to make it work. I was bending towards them and, and actually becoming less of myself in order for it to work.
Yes.
So I think that's why Matthew Hussey's been so popular, because he's such a big one on abundance of dating. But like you say, you do it with an element of integrity that communicates honesty and a clarity to each other, going, yeah, I'm dating other people, but but because we navigate our sexual ethics in a much better way, the question is when you start really lowering essentially your sexual ethics and start engaging, getting your emotional needs met by these people. And that's when you've got a plethora of casual dating is dangerous.
Right. Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah. Sorry, I've spoken too much.
Man, I love what you said, Carrie, just about, am I coming from a space of scarcity or abundance? Mm-hmm. And I think even just when I question who says casual dating is bad or wrong, or where does the belief come from that casual dating is synonymous with one night stands or hookups? And I think that's the posture that I try to show up in every area of my life is, let's just be curious. We take a statement, whether it's casual dating is bad, or even, well, I'm not exclusively dating right now, that's bad, or you're not looking for anything serious. Why are we labeling it like that? Is it because personal experience? Is it because of narratives we heard from faith circles? Is it because of bad experiences other friends had dating casually? What is it? And I think before labeling something as good or bad, let's be curious about what this thing actually is. I don't think there's a ton that's innately bad or wrong. Netflix isn't bad or wrong. Social media isn't bad or wrong. It's the heart with which we approach
that's it.
The thing that changes everything. And so for me, I also, when I think of dating, I think, first of all, I have agency and autonomy over myself and how I'm showing up. And no one is entitled to me because I've gone on a date with them, and vice versa. I think so much of the conversation around dating, like you're saying, Kait, is being honest with where you're at. And I think one of the biggest breakdowns in relationships, in all relationships, and I think it manifests itself hugely in Christian dating, is assumption. I assume because a guy has taken me on a coffee date that he is not seeing anyone else. I assume because on my end, I thought the date went really well, that we're headed straight towards a relationship. And I've done that, oh my gosh, so many times. A guy looks at me and you're like, oh my gosh, I think I'm engaged now. Everything's going really well.
He lifted his hands in worship and
oh my God.
And he asked me out and it's done.
I think he shaped my initials with his hands during worship, and therefore it's like we create this whole, we create this story. We actually create the story about them before they actually went, what? Wait, what? I don't know whether I said yes to that story. Did I say yes to that story? I don't. I think we had a coffee a couple of weeks ago, and I don't know why. And we texted a couple of times, but I don't think. You know, you can see the guys panic, hence why a lot more on the ratio that I was talking about, a lot of guys are dating unbelievers outside the church because they find them safer, because the stakes are less.
Yeah, because so many of us women are coming from a place of fear and scarcity. And even I'm 35 years old and I'm dating, and I feel my biological clock in a way that I didn't 5 years ago. I want to have babies. I want to settle down. And so if I approach dating from a place of, oh my gosh, my biological clock says that, okay, so if I want to have a baby in 2 years, then I need to have met my husband 2 weeks ago. And that means then we have to be at this pace by then so that we can be proposed to by then, so that we could get married by then, so then we can start trying by then. And that's so much pressure. We're showing up with so much pressure. And so I think that's why communication is so important. Like, here's where I'm at, here's what I'm looking for. And I think it's so normal and healthy, whether you just got out of a relationship, whether you haven't dated a lot, saying there is a big chasm, like you said, Kait, between going on a date and being engaged. And what if I have not gone on a lot of dates and I just want to get more at bats?
Right.
Like, I just want to get more comfortable being around guys and flirting and practice healthy boundaries.
Yes.
I think casually dating can be a really healthy expression.
I think I love the destigmatizing the words casual dating, because oftentimes, again, we attach like a meaning to it, like the hookup culture, we may attach unintentionality. And what I've measured for myself is, what is my intention in being non-exclusive for 3 months? If my intention is, I just want to have a lot of great attention from a lot of guys and just like, quote unquote, play the field in a way that's like, yeah, it's not really going anywhere with this guy, but I'm going to like keep him around because like, it's just nice to like have a free dinner. I mean, to be honest, like then my intention is like, that's not, we're not, I mean,
I'm on a really tight budget. And so we need to find people that can buy me dinner.
Yeah. But like, if my intention is genuinely, I'm being honest with these guys, I know that this is a challenge for me. This actually is a real big challenge for me. And I'm doing it in this season because I believe it challenges my openness and my ability to be open, trust my gut, and watch like how things play out. I read a great book last year called How to Avoid Falling in Love with a Jerk. It's written by a Christian psychologist, John Van Epp, and he basically does say in this book, like it takes a minimum of 3 months to 90 days to really see somebody's actual character. Anybody can fake to be anyone for 90 days. And so that also like is in my mind of like this 3-month thing. But I think it comes back to your heart and your intention. And that's why really early on, as in this process with these guys, I've been honest. You know, I'm like, hey, I just want you to know I'm really enjoying my time with you. I do want to continue to get to know you. And I want you to be honest with the fact that I am in a non-exclusive state at the moment. So I have seen other people. And I'm doing that right now in this season. I understand if that changes where you're at or what you desire to enter into with me. But I want to be really honest about just my heart posture in this.
I think also on the other side of it, a lot of people connect casual dating with disposable dating.
That's good. Yes.
When I was on a Clubhouse room, which I'm still trying to navigate, that entire social media platform
stresses me out so much.
I can't. I just can't. I cry sometimes after listening to something because I just don't know what to do with myself.
Oh my God.
But I was listening to one and it was this matchmaking thing. She was a millionaire matchmaker. I think her name was Patti Smith, and she was asked the question, what is the number one thing that millennials are doing wrong in dating? And she said she was from the sort of Sex and the City era. So she's, nearing more towards the 40s. And she said disposable dating is the real problem. And I think we're even finding on hookup apps and online. So lots of people I've encouraged to do online dating and hookup apps because they're being able to kind of broaden their mind of like the abundance, less scarcity, and actually realize there are so many people out there with amazing stories that you get to meet. But the disposable dating she was saying is the toxicity of dating, because we're actually just using it for getting our emotional needs met. So it's going back to essentially your motivation and what you're looking at really is exploring rather than getting the emotional needs met, which disposable dating isn't intentionally looking for relationships. It's just looking to get their needs met.
Yeah.
And so I think that's probably...
That's a really good distinction. That's important.
Yeah. Like looking to get the ego stroked or scratch the itch. You know, I think in faith circles and Christian culture, we really judge hookup culture. And we're like, oh my gosh, those people are getting naked on the first date. And that's so wrong. But I find so much in Christian dating, you might not be getting physically naked on the first date, but emotionally, spiritually, mentally naked. Right. And I did that for so long because I was really just trying to trauma bond with people and I didn't know it. But I thought, oh my gosh, we need to have a deep conversation immediately. I need to unpack all my baggage to see if he will really stay there. You know, I was trying to force intimacy. And so I think we definitely do that in Christian dating and in the church. And I think also, even just when you're talking, I don't know if this is me living in New York for so long, but I feel dating culture in the church in New York is very much, you're not exclusive until you've had a conversation. So whenever I'm going on dates with guys, I never assume that we are exclusive or that's even where it's headed until we've had a conversation of, hey, I really enjoy getting to know you and I want you to know that I'm not seeing anyone else. Or, hey, I would really like to be exclusive with you. And so that's been my experience in dating is I show up expecting you've probably gone on 3 other dates this week and maybe I've gone on a date or 2 as well. And that's fine. We're not exclusive yet.
Right.
And I think you can be on the path towards wanting exclusivity, yet until you have that conversation, you're not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's incredible, yet very rare in many like places in America and probably elsewhere too. Probably just more so the New York culture. Because I agree with you, Kat. Just even living in New York, I wasn't dating. I was in a toxic relationship while in New York, but I know what you're talking about with that kind of cultural stigma, which is a good thing, I think. Yeah, I think that dating from an abundance mindset is also, I think we just miss out. And I think a lot of pastors say, you know, you're going to play with somebody's heart if you're dating multiple people. But I think we all have this quote unquote idea of a type. And I think it oftentimes gets super rocked when we can actually date. First of all, challenge ourselves that there isn't one specific type out there, like, for us. And oftentimes we put type based on physical qualities and those sorts of things and nice to have things versus more need to have things. And yet I think that when you date, you realize what you're more so attracted to. So if you're somebody who has very little dating experience or has only been in very long relationships, you don't really know what you actually truly enjoy and are connected to. And so dating non-exclusively, being very clear about it, really helps you to see, well, how do I show up around different people? Or what does stand out to me about this person? I'll be honest that in this journey so far, there have been moments too where certain guys have stood out to me like, that was a really amazing time. And then in my old life, well, quote unquote, I would have just immediately been like, I'm in, let's go. Like, let's be exclusive, you know? But then what's been really cool, or interesting at least, is then I have another experience with them and it's not exactly the same. And I'm not willing to dispose of them, quote unquote, on your point, Carrie. Yeah. But I'm just like, this is interesting because over time you see more. So I'm like, it allows my heart to be just more even keeled versus like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. And I'm going to jump right on into this pool that I really don't know what else is in that pool, but I'm just jumping in, you know? And so it allows more of a better gradual experience of learning that person through time. And I think the balance for me as well, just on the last point there, is I'm not seeing like one person every single day. You know, I'm giving it them all equal.
You don't
space.
have a date for breakfast, date for lunch, date for dinner. Exactly. I'm just packing in my schedule and as many people as I can see because I'm all about the abundance.
3 guys today, 3 tomorrow. No.
What have you noticed in yourself that's been different since you've taken this approach? What's grown in you?
Yeah, it's been awesome to see that, you know, one of the guys revealed to me that he also is non-exclusively dating. And I'm like, great, you know? Or one of the guys was like, I might need some time to myself right now. And if I had just committed to that guy, I would have been like so crushed by that. I would have been like, oh, wow, I feel really sad. But instead I was like, that's great. Yeah, take whatever time you need. And less because I have all these options, but because I haven't put all eggs in the basket of any person that I'm dating. Versus in the past, when I just jump into exclusivity, I'm like, my eggs are starting to be in that basket, you know? And so I really have found just my emotional levels have stayed more balanced, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would say, I think sometimes people do jump onto the label quickly to a point where I'm like, you should have stayed in the exploration stage, because I've often found that people will break off a month or 2 months after they've made it official.
Yes.
And they were only dating for like, I don't know, 4 weeks or something.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer. It's good to hear that someone else is back to the whole 3-month thing, because I always thought everyone's on their best behavior for at least 3 months.
Yeah.
And so for me, the exploration stage is glorious because the pressure is completely off. You're really enjoying that person for who they are and what they bring for the table. And you also get to learn a lot more about what you bring to the table for somebody else, as opposed to this feeling, because you're going from essentially like this orphan mindset around dating with the scarcity level of things, that you're actually just clawing at the bit for someone to feel something that we should have been meeting ourselves. And so I think that's it. Just even watching you over the years, like there's this new sense of confidence in you. And actually, you've always been a beautiful, joyful, fresh bubble of air in our lives. But there's something that feels really grounded in you right now, I think, because you're like, oh, pressure's off. And you're feeling really powerful. It's really nice to look at.
Oh, Carrie, thank you.
You're welcome.
I love that.
It's really inspiring.
Okay, you guys, this is beautiful. So, any last closing thoughts?
You're
on this?
beautiful.
Well, you're beautiful, and you're beautiful. But girl, that lipstick though, and girl, that hair though, those lashes. I mean, girl.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I think maybe just if we're like wrapping up, maybe what's something that we can give someone to hang their hat on? So, okay, maybe I've never dated casually before, or I've never, like you're saying it, practicing non-exclusivity. What are a few things that you guys think someone could do to explore that in a way where he or she still feels connected to their hearts, to their values, to God, to their integrity?
This will be our final dating nugget, because that's what we end every episode with. Oh. So this will be like each of our final dating nugget. My thing on this is trust your gut. That's my new thing this last year. And just pay attention to what it's saying. You know, if something's coming up for you, write it down, journal that, and pay attention to that, whatever it is. Your body is speaking to you. And so after a date, always I write it down. I'm like, what did I feel on this date? Genuinely. And then I go on another date. What did I feel on that date with him? The same guy. I do that with any person I'm dating now. And you really have to pay attention to it, because I know that I could have good conversations with a lot of people, but I need to pay attention to what my body's really telling me and what the Holy Spirit is speaking within me about, is this actually a safe person, or is that just a charismatic person that I feel attracted to because of their charisma, you know? I mean, that's real, because I fall for that all the time. So trust your gut, and also know that in trusting your gut, you may get it wrong sometimes. And the best part about getting it wrong is you can apologize to that person. You know, hey, I think I got that wrong. It doesn't have to change where you stand. I just wanted to let you know that I think I got it wrong.
Good.
So good. And what a beautiful thing to start the practicality off with is trusting your gut and listening to your body, because how much have we, especially in church cultures, been taught to dismiss our body and dismiss our intuition and gut. And I'm just so on board with that. I think what I would say is have a posture of curiosity when you approach dating. I think it can be so easy to approach a date like a job interview. Like, I'm just trying to see if they check the boxes of the spiritual resume that I'm looking for in a partner, as opposed to, this is another person that God created and God really loves. And regardless if there's a romantic connection, God has made our paths collide, and there's an invitation there. So how can I put aside my agenda of trying to figure it out in one date or 2 dates or 3 dates and be curious about the human that's in front of me? And then I think kind of alongside that is intimacy takes time. True intimacy takes time, and there's no shortcuts to it. And so part of getting to know someone, maybe in a more casual setting at first, is pacing yourself.
Yes, thank you. That's good.
So you're not getting exclusive immediately. Maybe you're hanging out with them once a week, once every other week. You're not talking on the phone all the time or texting all day, but you're creating a more sustainable pace of getting to know someone over the long haul.
Good. That's so good. That's one of the things I was going to say is actually the sometimes whoever's going faster at the pace is normally trying to fix something in themselves.
Ooh.
So, and I've often been the culprit of that. I've been on the receiving end of that, and I've often caused it myself. So that can be when you're looking at building trust with each other. I always try and come into it, even if it's casual dating. I'm always going and going, what builds trust with this person? Communication without question. But actually, I can't build trust with somebody else unless I keep myself safe. Yeah. And for so long, I was trying to make the world safe. And that whole scanning thing that people do on the first dates of checking the little boxes and the little
are they a good husband?
Exactly.
That my children.
That is coming from, I don't feel safe in my safe, so I have to make sure that they are.
Oh, wow.
Whereas if I come in feeling safe with another person in front of me, it doesn't really matter who they are, what they're doing, because I'm not holding my happiness, my joy, any codependent things on them.
Yes.
It's purely a case of what does it look like to make myself feel safe. So I wouldn't necessarily think that everyone should go into casual dating straight away. Right. The first thing I might say is just check that you feel safe in yourself, that you trust you, so that when you do come to someone very different to you, you can communicate exactly where you're at and make it very clear. You've got to work on making yourself safe before you kind of go into this journey, I think. That doesn't mean to say be perfect. I'm just suggesting build trust within yourself. And that is a great foundation in the first place for any kind of relationship with anyone, regardless of just dating and romance. I'm talking friendships and everything.
Yes, that's good.
So...
Wow. Okay, ladies, I just learned so much from both of you.
Snaps.
Well, this is so fun. For everyone listening, I hope you guys were encouraged by this conversation and challenged, because I think that's what we want to do here. We want to ruffle the feathers, and we try to put all these scripts and like bumpers on Christian dating. We try to make it very black and white, and it is more gray. And there's probably pastors who wouldn't agree with our conversation today. But I genuinely think, in talking to so many pastors and doing this work myself and having amazing friends like Carrie and Kat, and having somebody like Dr. Cloud, hey, he's an expert in psychologists and he highly encourages this, that this actually could be something, on Carrie's point, check yourself first. That would be a great challenge for people to go out and do dating in a new way, release the pressure. So ladies, thank you so much for joining for this conversation.
Oh, what a treat.
Thanks for having us.
Should we go back to the dance floor now?
Yes, let's go back to the dance floor.
Work.
What song? What's our dance floor song?
I don't know, just clicking.
Beyonce is the best in the world. It's an original piece I'm working on. Meet me at the altar in your white dress. We ain't getting no younger. We might as well.
Hey, she's on it.
Wait,
here we go.
We gotta keep going.
All right. Kat's album's released next year, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
We're really looking forward to being back in
Oh my gosh. All right, y'all. Love you. We'll see you next time.
The Heart of Dating podcast is created by Kait and JJ Tomlin. Shout out to our epic audio and video editor, Scott Caro. We have an amazing Heart of Dating team who helps bring the show to you each week. I want to shout out Kelsey Napier, our Heart of Dating digital marketing coordinator, and Elena Gibson, our brand and community manager. We couldn't do it without them. Now, if you guys have never ranked us or reviewed us on iTunes or Spotify, would you consider doing that? It would mean so much because our podcast can get more discovered and more people can learn how to better date as Christians. Don't we all want that? We launch our podcast each and every week on Wednesdays, so we will see you next week.